Hey, hi everyone. Welcome to your show, Coffee with Experts. This is Ranmay here, your host for today's episode. And today we have Melissa Mackey, who is the Director of Paid Search of Compound Growth Marketing with us. Hey, Melissa.
Hello. It's great to be here.
Lovely. Melissa, before we move any forward and pick your brains, why don't you talk us through your journey so far, which has been quite one, like you were talking about in the green room, and then we'll take it forward from there on.
Sure, sounds good. So, yes, I am director of paid search for compound growth marketing. We are a agency specializing exclusively in B2B. A lot of our clients are in the tech space, but not all of them. And really fun company to work with. We do not only media and SEO, but we also do revenue operations for our clients, getting really deep into their buyer journey and how their customers actually progress from lead to sale. As far as my own journey, I've done paid search since 2002. So, way back in the beginning when Google Ads was new and Overture was still a thing and Look Smart and all these other engines that have gone by the wayside, I started in house. It was an in house role for about 5 years and then moved to the agency world. And Compound Growth is the third agency I've been with since 2007. So it has been very exciting. I've done a little paid social along the way, done a little bit of display, always kept coming back to search because it just really is where my passion lies. It's such an interesting thing to work in and always changing. Every day is different. People ask, how do you spend this long in an industry? The answer is no 2 days are the same. So I'm never bored.
Yeah, that's a good thing about it, about our industry, right? You get to learn something new every week or in every fortnight, depending on the kind of business interactions that you have with business owners. And Melissa, like you said, you have been on both sides of the table, right? Being on the client side, now you are in an agency. Talk us through how is it different? What are the challenges that you feel now that you're in the other side of the table, which is our side of the table, right? So now that you're on this side, so, what are the challenges that you feel that any agency has, and really how can they overcome those challenges coming from an experience of being a client yourself to an agency?
Sure. So when you're the client yourself, you get very deep into the business and you understand a lot of aspects of it. And a lot of times you're doing more than just search. For example, you're working on a generalized marketing team and you're responsible for the website content and other things. When you're in an agency, you tend to specialize in one particular area like paid search or paid social or SEO. The difference with an agency is you're constantly having to find new business. It's just the nature of the beast. We have clients that will turn over. Obviously, you try to keep clients as long as you can, but you have a lot of clients you work on and they aren't always the same. So you have to be very good at quickly learning how a client's business works, what their goals and objectives are, what they've done historically that may be different from another similar business. So even if you've
Mm.
worked on one SaaS client, another SaaS client may be very different in terms of what works for them. And you also have to be able to juggle a lot of priorities. If you're working on 5 clients, you've got to figure out how to prioritize them and get all the meetings in and still get some work done. It's definitely a balancing act. You have to be good at prioritization and time management. But I find it exciting. I find it really interesting to learn about different businesses. I frankly got a little bored when I was in house. And I think that this is exciting because you really make a difference to the clients. They've hired an agency because they have problems they need to solve, and we help solve those.
Lovely. And then, like you mentioned, every business is different, right? And so is every agency, while we all claim to be very unique and all of that, right? And then we all feel it genuinely, right? And like we were talking about, you have your own processes, we have our own, while we are all doing, let's say, SEO, PPC content for our clients at the end of the day. What do you genuinely feel that makes your agency different from all the ones out there? How is compound growth marketing different from any agency out there? And how does it compounds the growth of its clients?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's funny, my husband works in the finance world, and he thinks that the name of our company is interesting, Compound Growth, because it's a concept that he works with on a daily basis, but
True.
it's really what we do for our clients because we get so deep into the client's business and how leads progress and how they close those leads. We've gotten on sales calls with clients, not to participate, but just to listen and hear what
Mhm.
the salespeople are doing. So a lot of agencies are very big on the front end. Let's put things into the top of the funnel. And then it's kind of once it gets in the funnel, it's a client. Now it's on you to, move those on through. We
Yeah.
take it a lot further and really try to work with the client to help them with sales enablement, to help them remove additional barriers that might be happening after that initial online lead comes in. So we get very deep in their business. We will get into their Salesforce instance or whatever CRM they're using and dig in and really understand how we can help them score leads better, how we can help them prioritize leads and follow up on them efficiently. So, this is the first place I've worked that's gone that deep into the process
Mhm.
with clients, and it really makes a difference.
Absolutely. At times, it is so much about going just beyond your contractual obligations, just having those lead forms getting filled, which is actually a job. And it is so much about stitching together an entire story and looking at the back end side of things. What is happening after that form is being filled? What is happening to those calls, like you mentioned? Just being a silent listener to understand what is happening after that form is being filled. What is happening after that sales call has taken place? What are the next steps that the operations of that particular business is looking into? And so much of it is beyond your contractual obligations, which I feel makes any agency unique in itself because there's so much invested in your in a business. Let's say as a client, there's so much invested in your business that they're looking at your day-to-day operations and not really putting in those reports at the end of the month to say, "Hey, look at this, we have done our job. Now it's on to you." So yeah, I love the fact that you mentioned it. Great. Melissa, you have been in this industry since 2000, which is almost like more than 2 decades now. And you have witnessed the evolution of paid search, right? And you would have witnessed those early days where budget was a constant. Now people have budget. Even small businesses, at times we say a no to a lot of businesses wherein they have the budget, but you understand when I see this, they're not prepared to get into paid right now. So a lot of education is being done from our end to clients to say a no, which is difficult for us as well, saying no to revenue, but to help them understand that they're not ready for that piece right
Right.
now. Right. So you have witnessed the evolution of paid search since last 20 odd years now. Talk us through what do you feel has changed over these years, how it all was there when you started, what was the client's approach to, let's say, budgeting for a particular campaign to how it gradually changed to what it is right now.
Yeah, yeah, it's so different now. It's hard to imagine what it was like back in the beginning. When I started, we didn't even have a daily budget. We would spend as much as we wanted to on Google Ads because we made money on every single sale. So this was back when I was in house. Clicks were so inexpensive and there was so little competition that we said, hey, if we're making money, if we're on the positive in terms of ROAS, which we were from day one, we're gonna pump as much money as we possibly can into this thing and take as much search volume as there is, and that's what we did for 5 years, for the whole 5 years I was there. No one's in that situation now. The click costs have really exponentially increased, and the other thing that's in play now that wasn't in play much at all then is automation. We've seen automation go from, really very small, like, just things like what sites your ads would show on, all the way now to bids and bid strategies and even writing ad copy and creating videos for your business out of just assets that you have on your website. A lot of that was unimaginable 20 years ago when I started doing this. And it has its good and its bad side. And I like the fact that we don't have to be in managing bids on a daily basis. That was a waste of time. So I love not having to do that, but I get concerned, especially in the B2B world, which the search engines do not understand still. They're very focused, and frankly, their algorithms have been built on e commerce. So they understand e commerce really well. They don't understand B2B. So the automated assets that are created are often terrible, as are automated recommendations and other things that just don't perform. So you still have to have that human element and be very careful, but it's gone all the way from bid jamming where we used to bid like 1 cent less than the next competitor, and the old overture used to show what the bids were. It showed what everybody was paying. That is also hard to imagine now with we don't even see our own bids with automated bidding now, but it's gone from that to the machines making a lot of decisions for us.
Talking about machines, we all got hit around the same time of year last year with ChatGPT, AI, and everything. You know, what is your take on AI? How do you feel it's gonna be, let's say, 3, 6 months down the line from now? Exciting times ahead. We all adopted with it during the course of the year. But what is your take, and how have you guys implemented or executed it at Compound Growth Marketing with your day-to-day lives? And where do you feel are we headed with AI and
Yeah,
machine learning?
that is a tough question. Yes, and there is a difference between AI and machine learning. Google
True.
likes to call everything AI, and really a lot of what they call AI is actually machine learning, but anyway,
Actually, machine learning, yeah.
yeah, let's not get too technical here, but with ChatGPT and whatnot, it helps with keyword research. It can what I find with AI right now anyway, not to be confused with where it may go in the future, is it's good for thought starters, right? You can give it a prompt to write an article for you or to write some ad copy or give me a starter list of keywords or take a look at this landing page and tell me what it's about, and it will give you those thought starters. But we still have to put our own human experience on top of that. I find that it's time saving in the beginning to give me something to react to, which is always easier than if you're sitting down with a blank sheet of paper, it's really hard to write an article. But if you're sitting down with something that you have to edit, you can say, okay, now I know where I want to take this, and you can go from there. Um, I find that it's still often very wrong and leads things in the wrong direction. It's getting better very fast, and it's scary almost how much better it has gotten just in the year that we've really all been using things like Chat GPT and artificial intelligence. As far as where it's going, it's the way I see it is like automated bidding, which is really machine learning. When that first came out, a lot of us were very opposed to that. We didn't want to let the machines make decisions for us. We said Google's just going to make more money for themselves, which has been true to an extent. But honestly, it's so much more efficient that small cost of the performance is something that we accept. And I see AI in the same way. It's going to save us time on tasks that we don't need a human to do and free up the human to do strategic work that I don't think a machine is ever going to be able to do.
Absolutely. And it does give you a head start for sure, like you mentioned, rather than starting with a blank sheet of paper. If you have a task to submit, let's say around 3 o'clock, you start around 12 noon, and then it just give you those head starters rather than searching for all those facts yourself, or let's say pointers yourself, right? But still, you got to humanize it in terms of having those human audits in place, and the prompts are still being done by humans. So
Right.
you have to still have to get yourself trained enough, with your, let's say, your learning or your day-to-day experience or your hit and trials initially to get better at using the machine in itself, right? So it's not gonna serve you everything on the platter, right? So you still have to get better as to kind of start using the machine or the software or the platform in itself. But yeah, still at the end of it, it is not really a deliverable piece of, let's say, content or whatever. You still have to humanize it to ensure that whatever is being delivered to your end consumer is absolutely bulletproof in terms of fact verified, in terms of all the other checks that needs to be there. So yeah, very valid point there. And then great, Melissa. But the last one, yeah, you have been recognized as one of the top 50 most influential PPC experts, and that is quite an achievement. What makes you so good?
Wow. A few things. A long time in the industry, there's no substitute for experience. Sometimes I've seen things come around and I'm like, we'll see how this goes. And frankly, life experience. To have been in the industry for 20 years, I've been in the work world for a long time. So I've seen a few things come around. But really, I think one of the other things is just my passion for the industry and the way that we like to share with one another. I've always been all about sharing and networking. When I started, it was so small And
Mhm.
I didn't have anybody to learn from in my organization. I was the only one doing paid search. And so I had to find others doing this somewhere else that I could learn from. And back then we had bulletin boards and forums and things where people were sharing ideas. And that was how I got started, just networking in the industry out of necessity. But I made so many lifelong friends there, and we all just try to help each other out. I like to have a take on things. I like to say what I think about things. And the other piece is the B2B world. I started working in B2B in 2012 and just really found a passion for it. And it's something that it is a niche within paid search. A lot of people are focused on B2C, but this is a very growing area and something that I've been involved in for a long time and really been advocating for. Google, every example it seems they give on like a Google Marketing Live is here's Reebok and here's Nike and here all these huge consumer brands. And I'm like, none of
Yeah.
this marketing advice applies to any of our clients. So I just want to be that voice to keep pushing, like, hey, we're out here too, B2B. Don't forget about us.
Lovely. All right, Melissa. But yeah, before I let you go, I would like to play a quick rapid fire with you. I
Sure.
hope you're game for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Your last Google search.
Oh my gosh. It was for one of my clients. It was one of their keywords. I don't want to say it because I don't want to give away who the client is, but it was for a client.
you, you don't need to. Don't worry. All right. Your celebrity crush.
My celebrity crush. Oh boy. You're asking me hard questions. I would say
Paid media was easy for you, so can't
yeah,
help it.
paid media is easy. These are the hard ones. Patrick Stewart. Love him.
All right. Uh, what did you do with your first paycheck, Melissa? First paycheck of your life?
Oh my gosh, I probably went to McDonald's or something stupid like that. When
All
I was in
right.
high school, I taught clarinet lessons and that was my first job, so I'm sure I, like, took my friends to McDonald's.
Lovely. Where do we find you on Friday evenings after work?
At home with a book, man, I'm wiped out and that's time to chill out and just sit down and decompress, and I love to read. That's where you'll find me, in my comfy chair.
Brilliant. The last one, I'll not kill you any further. That one thing, Melissa, that you love about your job, let's say our industry, that one thing that you love about that we all do.
I love how we all share. So many industries are so competitive and people don't wanna share what's successful for them because they're
Mm,
afraid competitors are gonna steal it. We're the
true,
opposite. We're out there sharing, "Hey, guys, I tried this," or "I found this," or
true.
Hey, here's what's going on." It's so open and so
Hmm.
collaborative, and everybody just wants to see everybody succeed, and that, I think, is what has kept me in it so long, is just this community of people that wanna help each other. It's like nothing else I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely. We have all these groups wherein people sharing all these charts. The traffic has grown up. What did they do? People asking them, they're sharing those mantras, those tricks, which they've used for that particular campaign, which has worked for them. Which is very rare to see in other industries, like you mentioned, people sharing what has worked for them with their competitors, which we all are glad to do. We all share it with a lot of pride and sense of responsibility as well at the same time, which I feel it is. If this has worked for me, let me share this with Melissa. Maybe she can apply it on one of her campaigns with her clients, which is nothing to do with me or my business or my agency, but she will be able to succeed if it might work for her, since it has worked for me with a similar kind of strategy. So yeah, a very valid point there. I also love it about our industry that we're also open-minded, wherein we talk about our successes, what has worked for us, what hasn't,